Welcome to 144,000teachers.org, Generation144k, a homeschooling and tutoring program. As we look now at Bible Reader number 2, Introduction and Teaching Suggestions for Parents, Teachers, and Tutors, we want to remind you that we are restoring true education one child at a time. Entering now into Bible Reader number 2 and increasing the font so it makes it easier for us to read. We want to remind you that the copyright of Bible Reader is 1904 and it was written by Elder Sutherland, the champion of true education, according to Mrs. Ellen G. White. And as we open up now to the introduction of Bible Reader number 1, we want also to remind you that this is based on the true education method. As a man thinketh in his heart, so easy. With equal truth may it be said that the thoughts of the child shape the actions of the man. Or in the words of Mr. Marden, what is put into the first of life is put into the whole life. Parents must therefore decide what they wish their children to become, and having made the decision, let them give them such a mental food as will bring the desired result. Even Christ was once a child, and he learned as every child today may learn. As an infant, he heard, oft repeated, the story of God's goodness and its greatness. Songs and prayers and lessons from the scriptures were his first lessons. From his mother's lips and from the scrolls of the prophets, he learned of heavenly things. His early years were given to the study of God's Word. He gathered stores of scientific knowledge from nature. He studied the life of plants and animals and the life of man. The results of early training are seen throughout his life. With the dawn of youth, he surrendered his life completely to God, that they might be accomplished through him the purpose of God in his birth. He became the greatest of missionaries. His life was spent in unselfish service. Would you have your child live and do the same? Then begin early. You cannot begin too early to fill the growing mind with God's truth as written in his word and in nature. Bible Reader, the second year, follows the plan begun in the first book of the series. It gives to the child the sample stories of the Old Testament scriptures. There is no broader field from which to draw, no matter more truly adapted to the mind of the child. No language so pure, no thought so ennobling. When they are woven into the fabric of human character, they produce beings in harmony with the Master, with eternity for their future home and school. No apology is made, therefore, for placing before the public, especially before an army of children, their parents and their teachers, this the second in the series of Bible readers. A careful reading is requested for the suggestions for teachers and parents, which outlines the methods to be followed in making this little book not only a model reader, but the center of a correlated study of language, biblical history, science, numbers, geography, and spelling. Here are the suggestions to parents, teachers, tutors. The best books may fail to accomplish their purpose when handled by inexperienced or indifferent teachers. First, become well acquainted with this reader before beginning to use it with a class of children. It is not enough to be able to pronounce all words correctly. What the teacher should be able to do. To handle a reading class with success, the teacher should be thoroughly acquainted with the history of the lesson as well as related history. There should be definite knowledge of the geographical situation, correct spelling, Syllabication, accents, markings, and definitions are required. Bible reader, if skillfully handled, is nearly the only textbook the child needs. To the thoughtful teacher, it suggests material for teaching by correlation the following subjects. And of course, the first one would be the Bible. The simple Bible stories found in the book of Genesis form for the most part the subject matter. Constant reviews of the Bible story as suggested, the use of frequent direct quotation from the Bible, and the use of the Bible itself after the reading of each lesson will so familiarize the child with the book of Genesis that he will have it in his mind for life. This is such a beautiful promise for parents who take heed and teacher and tutor. This is the book, the Bible. This is what we need to teach the children. Language. The teacher will find constantly recurring exercises in writing and storytelling. The suggested work may be enlarged upon to any extent. The natural method of teaching language is not the teaching of technical grammar with its lifeless forms. Teach language by using good language and by encouraging children to express themselves properly after having first given them something good and pure to think about. The subject matter of the book furnishes this material. Teach language in the concrete with this material as the basis. Geography. In imagination, live in the countries with the people about whom you read. With the little children to whom a map is vague and meaningless, locate places on the schoolroom floor, on the sand table, or in the yard. Build the towns and lay out the river. Make the deserts and cross them. When this is clear to the minds of the pupils, make a picture of it on paper. Hang it on the wall and you have a map. Locate every place on the map. Teach directions, distances, method of travel. The interest need never lag. Physiology and nature study. How can we study about God's people without learning how to live ourselves? There is the proper diet of man, the home in the country, the out-of-door life, the gardening, the loose garments, the heel-less shoes, the water to drink instead of tea, the custom of early rising, and 100 kindred subjects that suggest themselves. Only be careful that you are true to these principles yourselves. Your children will soon know your attitude. Physiology should be the central theme in nature study. God's physical laws are as binding as the Ten Commandments. But in addition to the study of the human body, study flowers and trees, brooks, stars, and all things about. This is the way we are told to conduct a nature study. Children should be encouraged to search out in nature the objects that illustrate Bible teachings and to trace in the Bible the similitudes drawn from nature. So this way they learn both ways, from the Bible and from nature and the Bible. The importance of physical exercise is emphasized. Teach the children to till the soil and to do the many things suggested by the lives you study. Your success will be in proportion to the ability you have to teach children too, and what to do. Numbers. Arithmetic should be taught as it is needed. Process teaching is an incorrect method of teaching. Children will learn how to do when they see the necessity of doing. Some number work is suggested. Much more will naturally be added by the teacher. Use the easy problems in the mental arithmetic for supplementary work. Spelling. This subject should always be taught in connection with reading. The pupil should never pass a word until he can both pronounce and spell it correctly. In some readers, the diacritical marks are given. These are usually memorized by the pupil. In this reader, a table of markings is inserted, such as page 218, to which constant reference may be made. The words of each spelling lesson should be divided into syllables, and, beginning with the more simple sounds, teach the children to mark the vowels and consonants. Be exact in your own pronunciation. Consult the dictionary often. Your pupils will soon learn to do the same. Writing. Script is inserted from time to time that pupils may learn to read this form as readily as the printed character. Frequent exercises in writing are required, and the teacher should demand the best effort of each pupil in every such exercise. Drawing. This is but another method of expression. Children will learn to draw as readily as they learn to write. Encourage drawing. Make sample outlines. Avoid details. Teach children to see the essential and then to reproduce them. Take the children on observation tours, and when they write the results, allow them to make their own illustration. So these are methods that are often not practiced, and especially with the mathematics where people believe they need to learn the equation, but this is not the method that you will learn actually in mental arithmetics. It's not at all the same approach. The illustrations are few and simple. Learn to depend not so much on pictures as on natural objects, which the children should study and learn to draw. These are the suggestions for parents, tutors, and teachers to use in this wonderful Bible reader number 2.